So I've owned this car for about 2 months and a week. Here is my review so far on what I feel about this car, my feedback, my comments, my pros and cons. So stay tuned if you guys are interested in seeing my review on the Honda Element. I knew I got a good car when my neighbor, he was pulling up and he looked at the car and he went like, that moment I knew I got a good car. So that reaction alone, I love it. I love it. I love that about this car, that it makes people react. One of the things that I like about this car is that the Element, it shares the DNA of a lot of other cars. This top, this black plasticish top, this reminds me of a Jeep, but it's not a Jeep. So the way that these doors shut, you see that noise? That noise, you see? That sound right there, that sound reminds me of the Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. You ever rode in a Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon? When you shut the doors on this car, it sounds exactly like that. Another observation about this car is the reflection of the passenger and driver front windows. That is also the DNA of the Mercedes G-Wagon, because the way that they're so parallel to each other, it's kind of hard to explain, but sometimes the reflection, like I see this side, I see the passenger side with the reflection of this. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that is also the DNA of the Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. On the rear, this reminds me of the Suzuki Jimny, which they also made a 4-passenger car like this one. One of the downsides of this car, I wish they got rid of the cup holders and they added an extra seat belt for like a small kid to go in there. That honestly would have made this car much better for me, especially I have kids. Another observation about this car is that the way that it opens is like a freaking truck. This reminds me of a truck. And of course the top, like an SUV. So it's like you get the best of all worlds with this car. It's just insane. And of course you got the waterproof floors, water resistant. Also, another thing about this car is the way that the seats, the rear seats, they stow up. This reminds me of like the Lexus GX 460. The rear seats did this also. So that reminds me of the Lexus GX. And of course, the way that the seats fall like that, this interior, when it's like in this mode, this reminds me of like those Ford E150 vans. This becomes like a freaking utilitarian van. My first Honda was many years back. It was actually a 2007 Honda Pilot. Rest in peace. Great vehicle as well. But this steering wheel, these buttons, the emblem, like this steering wheel reminds me a lot of my Honda Pilot. This grill right here, like the 2 silver bars and the emblem, that is also from they share the same grill from the 2007 Honda Pilot. The thing about this car is that only the front windows, they roll down, and the rear windows, this is how they open. Like this. So this reminds me of my dad's Ford F-150. Like I'm telling you guys, this car shares the DNA of a lot of other great cars. The subwoofer. The subwoofer is right here. So if you're gonna get this car, definitely go with the EX model, because this thing can bump. So there's no center console, and what I like is whenever I pick up my kid, Anybody can just go in and out from here. Like right here, they can go to the back seat. Well, I have the seats up right now, but like when I drop off my kids from school, he's sitting in the back seat. And because I don't want to bother in opening both doors, which is one of the major complaints I've seen on this car, is that I just told my kid to get up, go through here, pass through here, open the door, and take off to school. Yeah, those are my thoughts. I think this car is a platypus. It shares the DNA of a lot of cars. So final thoughts about the Element Toaster. It's a small car, but mighty. It's a small but mighty car. Gas mileage, it's not the best, but it could have been worse, so I'm okay with that. And the power, not the best, but it could also be worse. So I'm glad that it's a 4-cylinder car, and I'm glad that I'm just glad. I think it's a perfect balance the way that Honda made this car. I mean, for the size, for the way that it can cargo, the way that it's built, the aerodynamics of this car, the MPG 20 to 25 is not that bad. Not that bad at all. Final thoughts about it. Again, it's a car that brings a lot of attention, especially if you have a bright color like this one. It definitely brings a lot of attention. It makes heads turn. So overall, I'm very happy and satisfied with the Honda Element. So if you stuck around with the review, thank you guys. Make sure you guys like it, subscribe, share, whatever.